Happy Friday, Pat, and it has been a busy one.
Hey, yeah. Hey, busy.
That's why we're running a little late here for our millions and millions of viewers.
Exactly.
So it's been an interesting week, both politically and financially in the real estate world. And we have 5,655 homes on the market. Every time I look at that number, I just, and it's not just here, it's national. Talked to my brother today, friends up there in the Puyallup area, south of Seattle, put their home on the market, and they got, and the home was priced in the fours or something like that. They got $65,000 more for their asking price in 2 days. And they're moving to Knoxville, Tennessee. So they're all giddy because they can do pretty well in Knoxville, Tennessee. And, but $65,000 more. And it's that crazy here. And it was interesting. And of course, Zillow came out and said their predictions for 2021, top 3 cities for real estate. Austin's number 1, Phoenix number 2, and Nashville number 3.
Yeah, I saw that.
The worst cities are no surprise: New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Knocked me down with a feather. So the and before people jump off of here, next week Pat and I are going to have some fun. We're going to go back and look at 2020 with some clips of things that we thought was going to happen, and we're going to show you where we were wrong, and we're going to show you where we got lucky. And so it's kind of fun. I went back to our very first live event that we did on YouTube, and I think the first 30 seconds were met with problems. We didn't know we were already live, and sound wasn't working, so it's pretty fun. So I read the Cromford report, and as everybody knows, that's through Michael Orr. You can almost hear the frustration in his voice through his writing, just going, yeah, we thought it'd be better, and it's not. And now we're seeing numbers we've never seen. And he made the comment that there's been a slight pullback in buying activity. But when I go through, and I'll share this real quickly, when I look at the 7-day moving average that I do, this one here, you go to the far right hand side, you can see that yellow line. The blue line are new contracts coming up. And the yellow line is once again beating the blue line, which means we're gobbling them up. So like here you got 3,664 homes that came on the market, and then we had 38 go under contract. So we're eating up more than's coming on, but that number is still, it's pretty good. There's only a few weeks here that was beating it. So it's an interesting thing that I'm not seeing. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not seeing a drop. The other thing that I highlighted in a video the other day was this one here, and that is pending foreclosures. Are we going to crash? We're going to have a crash. Well, you can't have a crash until you have foreclosures, and you can't have foreclosures until you have pending foreclosures, right? We're down here in the bottom left. We have 381 right down there. You can see here that this magenta line here is from 2011 at the height of when the foreclosures were. So we had the crash in 2008, right? It took 3 years for these foreclosures to start really flooding the market. We had over 40,000 foreclosures pending on the market then. 2008, we got up to 30,000. So to go from here to here, it's a pretty big jump. I don't see it happening. So
I don't either.
It's going to be. I got to get back to my screen here and stop the share. But yeah, I don't see that happen. Now, having said that, there could be some financial black swans out there that you and I just don't see coming.
Yeah, I mean,
some kind of a credit freeze or something.
the credit freeze. I mean, the rates have been calm. Rates have, they spurred up last week for about 5 days, and then Monday, about the last week, they've been coming back down again. So they're still in the high twos, high twos, depending on your credit score. So I mean, nothing has been inflected into the rates as far as that they're going to. We hit a high, like I said, a short term, high last week a little bit, but they've been coming back down again. So the Feds have been doing everything they can do to kind of keep rates steady, and they have not given any indication that there's some indication they're going to pull back. I mean, the Feds have said that they're going to, on their meeting, that they are going to probably loosen up here shortly, and that is going to have an increase in rates. If the rates do increase, you're probably going to see low threes, mid threes, but nothing. You're not going to see. There's nothing in the books that say it's going to go from high twos up to say 4.5. I mean, they were saying that even it really is about 3.5 is high threes that people are going to start like, hey, this is going to start causing a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, and who would have ever thought that high threes would make people pull back? A couple of years ago, we were saying, man, if it ever hits 6, people are going to back off. But now we're saying 3s. We get used to that one level, and we never want to go back. And so, but that's an affordability issue now.
I think that's going to be probably one of the biggest things that I see in the future is if rates do. I mean, who knows? Obviously, nobody's got a crystal ball, but if rates did go to say, based on the numbers you got, we'd have to see rates probably in the mid 4s before people really say, hey, I can run some numbers next week and see what what it's really going to. It's going to obviously make a difference.
Well, my dad was a real estate broker for years, and he always said, I sell more houses when rates are going up than I do when they're going down, because people panic and they run. But I don't, and I think we sensed a little bit of that this week. I went to a home today to check out in Gilbert. There were 4 cars there when I got there. I go to the showing time calendar and the whole day is booked. And they got an open house tomorrow, and they have 6 appointments for tomorrow. This home fell back on the market for $475. It's got solar, kitchen's remodeled and everything. And it's okay. But when I got there, I mean, there was just one agent after another. And I went inside, and the listing agent was in there, and I said, steady stream? She goes, nonstop. Just boom, 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 boom. And it's going to be that way till 7:00 tonight. And when you call the agent, his message is, if you're calling about blah, blah, blah street, we are back on the market. And the last go around, we had many offers, most of them over asking price. So submit your highest and best. And I suggest you put in an appraisal waiver. He's leaving instructions on the listing before you write it. Appraisal waivers, if they go in and they offer 500,000 and only appraises 490, you got to come up with the extra 10K, which was a conversation you and I were having the other day about, should I put 20% down or 10 or 15?
Yeah. Or 5.
If you put down 10 or even 5, you've got PMI, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got 20% and you don't put all of it down, maybe you hold some of that to cover the appraisal. So if you put 10% down and the market's going up at a 15% clip, you're probably not going to be paying PMI very long.
No, you can hold off. And like I said, PMI, I mean, obviously today I ran for scenario, and PMI is very reasonable. I mean, you're looking at, $450,000 loan, 5% down. It was, I think the factor with a credit score of 775, it's anywhere from, it's about $70 to $80 a month at 5%, So, on 450,000, I mean, you're looking at, the difference of, it's $22,000, $22,000 that you've got more cash at an $80 a month payment, extra payment, still saves you about $23,000. So it's not a bad trade-off for the time, for a short term to get into, like you said, keep that money, maybe put 5% down. You got to maybe, you said, you got to use that excess money to maybe make the offer to go higher.
Well, a friend of mine's an agent in Ahwatukee, and she was telling me that she is having this conversation with the buying agent, and she's the listing agent. And so the house was for sale for $470, and they offered her $10K more, $480. Well, there were some roof issues that came up in the inspection period. So they put out an offer to give them a $10,000 credit at the close of escrow. When they started having this wild discussion, and the agent was throwing all of these scenarios, well, if it appraises for this, then the credit's got to be this, and they made it really complicated. She calls me and she says, "What do you think?" I go, "Just say it's going to be the sales price is $480. That's what they offered you, and you're giving them $10,000 credit." I said, "Because I just did the math. It's going to appraise at $480. They bought it a year and a half ago. They're getting divorced." I said, "You only have to go up 15% in value to hit 479.9. And we went up 18%. In a year and a half, you've gone up at least 20. And I'll be darned if it didn't come in at 480. These appraisals are hitting, but she was trying to make all this complicated what ifs and put it in a buyer's inspection report response. And my thing is, like, keep it as simple as you can. Don't say anything about the appraisal. Leave the asking price here, put in the credit, and that's it. Now, if it doesn't appraise, that's another conversation, but don't put it in the buyer's inspection report.
Yeah.
It just gets muddy.
Yeah. If you get an appraisal, obviously there's a lot of appraisals being weighed, but if you have to get an appraisal, let the appraisal kind of dictate the transaction.
Yeah. I mean, you can only guess. I mean, and then for those that are getting beat out on homes, I did a video the other day showing that, there are homes that are going right at their asking price. You just got to keep shooting. It's like shooting clay pigeons. You might eventually get one. So now I can talk about the house that I sold in Surprise, because, we never discuss price until it's closed. So I'm not going to say, "Hey, we got 315. And then it falls out. And then I go, nobody's going to offer me more than 315. So we had this beautiful little home, and we looked at it and said, we can probably get 289 because the market's going up, up, and up. Kind of market value is sitting around 282, maybe. So we said, let's go 289 because I think the market will catch up to us. Their main driver was not price. Their main driver was they had a contingency on a new build, and they had to have their house sold and the contingency removed in 30 days. So here's an opportunity to come in and get a house, and the buyer offered us full price, 289, and he had already gone through underwriting, and the only thing they needed to wait for was the appraisal. So no bidding wars, no lining them up out the door. We did a one-day listing, and we got, 2 solid offers, but his won over because he's already been through underwriting, right? And my clients were pleased because it closed 2 days before their 30 days were up. But that means the message to buyers out there is, you never know. In a heated market, you might find that one couple. This is a beautiful home too. It's small, but it was, cleanest home I've ever seen in my life. So, and they're YouTube subscribers. And they're YouTube subscribers. So
nice. No, it's, this is where, obviously I've got a lot of respect for you and the other realtors out there. And obviously, lenders are under time crunch and stuff like that. But this is where I think experience does pay, because you're thinking outside the box. A lot of agents think in negotiating, highest and best takes the price. But a lot of cases, I had a guy that put an offer in. He had get financing, but they took, like last week, this offer of $700,000 property, they took a little bit lower price because it was cash. There's different types of the negotiation. It's just not the highest and best. Maybe
I'm
like
looking at one. I'm looking at one today. And so I called the agent this morning, said, do you have any offers? Yeah, we have one. It's conventional. And so then I called him after going out and looking at it. And I called him back and I said, what are some of the pinch points for your sellers? Would they like a quick close? Do they need more time? Are they interested in a lease back? So what if we gave you an offer, said, we're going to buy your house. We can close soon because it's cash. But then we'll give you the opportunity to lease back and make the terms very flexible. And he goes, I haven't done one of those in a long time. I said, well, that takes the pressure off the seller to hurry up and get out of the house and find another place. So let's say we close, we get an offer, we get a contract, they don't have to hurry up and pack and hurry up and shop. Right.
mm-hmm.
So maybe they can stay there till, the
45 days.
March and have plenty of time. And he said, that might work because when they sell the house, they're planning on moving in their fifth wheel. And which like, oh, okay. Well, till you see how many kids they got. I wouldn't want to be cooped up in that fifth wheel.
Oh God. Well, you just make a good point that it's just not always about, it's about timing, closing, finding out the whole situation. And you might find
it's worth it to call the agent and say, is there any outstanding stuff that, that the sellers are looking for that maybe you think I should know? And they'll go, yeah, they wrote a contingency offer on another house. They really need a quick close. They need solid financing. It's not about price. Well, then move quick. But you still can't help the one like the house I just told you to. I went there and people were lined up the door. That's going to be an absolute bidding nightmare. And you can go in the MLS. Let me show you a little thing I do here. And I think you and I were sharing this with a young couple that we were talking to. So I'm going to share my screen here again. Because well, how do I know if something's going to be a big bidding war, right? So I go into the MLS. So let's look at this one here. It's in Gilbert. See that?
Mm-hmm.
New listing. So it just came on today. So I'm going to click on it. And we're going to look at it and go, that's pretty decent looking home. But then I'm going to go to Showing Time. Showing Time is an online scheduling system where you can make your appointment. So I'm going to go to Showing Time and I'm going to schedule a showing appointment. I'm not actually going to do it, but here's what I see. Look at that. They were booked all day today. And they got, at least, I don't think anybody's staying there an hour, but it looks like they got 2 or 3 back-to-back appointments. So after a busy day like this in the first day and those many appointments already for tomorrow, you can count on that one being kind of a little bit of a bid. But the one I was looking at today, I only had one opportunity to make an appointment at 1:30 for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the day was booked. So it's going to have probably a dozen offers by tomorrow morning. But you can tell ahead of time, how brisk do I think this house is going to be? So that's so I thought we'd make this a quick one today. What kind of numbers we think we're kind of on the watch out for next week, Pat?
It's been quiet. I mean, it's been quiet. I mean, it's been a calm week. I mean, they said even calmer. Everything's been calm here. We saw after the holiday, nothing is really, bonds have like pulling back, and there's nothing really too much on the mortgage side. Just that I'm waiting for them to pull back a little bit more. But it's been a very calm, nothing crazy in the mortgage news. That I can really.
Ellen is telling the Congress to go big on stimulus. Go big. Money's cheap.
That's the thing that scares me with rates. I mean, they've been really calm for the most part the last year, 6 months, 6 to 7 months, 8 months, and they are gonna, they've ratcheted it up based on that, but then that news is out there already. It's already been discounted in. So, but rates are going to go up with all this issuance of if they go much bigger, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and it's going to go straight into real estate and into stocks. It always does.
Yeah.
Whenever they've got that much spending, it always does, and it's not gonna help things. And I hope Biden doesn't put together that $15,000 first-time home buyer credit, because that's going to actually hurt first-time home buyers. It's just going to drive that market absolutely bonkers. So I hope he doesn't do that. But we'll continue to watch numbers. I don't, I can't predict anymore, so I don't even know what next week's going to bring. Except, well, I do. I'll bet you listings are lower. I don't see a change in the trend unless there's a change in the news.
Yeah.
I don't know how low they can go. I can't even guess anymore.
You mean the home inventory?
Yeah, I mean, we're 5,600. We got down to 5,300 this week on Tuesday.
Yeah, but like I say, once again, 5,600, but really not everybody. The average Joe and Mary Smith that are looking for a house, you could really just say out of those 5,600, you could probably discount probably 30%, 30 to 40% of those homes, maybe even 50%, because those aren't the homes they even wanted. They don't even want. So it's really 5,600 is probably more like 1,000.
Well, it's if you go single family, it gets, that 5,600 is mobile homes, townhomes, condos, everything. And well, Ocotillo, again, I like a broken record. I always track that little area, right? There's 4. One's 650. Well, one came back on today. It's a 360, 350. Came back on the market. So there's 5 today, but that's it. Yeah. And normally there's 60. So when you got somebody that wants to buy in a specific area, and I had a client that wants to buy there, and we're like, there's 4. There's nothing there. And, and you think, well, I'm going to go knock on doors. I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to say, I got buyers. Everybody's calling everybody.
That's the thing. I get solicited, 15 times a week. Hey, we want to sell we want to buy your house.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. It's
like when I lived in Southern California, when interest rates first started going down. This was before caller ID became a thing back in the mid-90s. There was no such thing. So you always answered your phone. Yeah. And we were getting calls every night at dinner time. Have you thought about refinancing your home? Rates are now low, because I think they were like all the way down to 9.
Yeah.
And every night you could count on 2 or 3 phone calls. It got so bad that I answered my phone. I go, hello, we're happy with our current mortgage. And you just hear click.
Yeah.
So we'll log back in next week. I want to let people know too, I'm going to be starting a morning podcast, looking at doing it every morning at 8 o'clock, where together we will just go through the MLS. It'll probably be about a half an hour. You'll see it on YouTube. I'll put links there. It may be like a special club, but you'll be able to see what I see in the morning. So while I'm having my cup of coffee, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at and any news that we've got. We'll read the Cromford report together to see if there's any new breaking news, and then we'll look at mortgages, and then we'll take on the day. So I'm going to have a brand new YouTube studio. It's going to be wicked. So it'll be fun, but people will be able to get up in the morning, and if we don't think 8 o'clock's working, maybe we'll do 7:30. But gonna give that a shot and see if that helps people out. So
that sounds good. And
other than that, Pat, have a super weekend.
All right, buddy.
Okay. See ya.
Talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.